Candace with Reasons for Hope. I wanted to welcome you to this very first segment of Candace's Corner. And you might be asking, where did you get that name from? Well, I don't know about you, but with the quarantine and COVID-19 happening and everyone staying in our house, we currently have 7 people in our house right now. This corner in my bedroom is about the only place I can get a little peace and solace at times. And so I was doing a Zoom call with some mom friends the other day, and I noticed they were all in the corners of their bedroom too. It seems like maybe, you could relate. So I'm calling it Candace's Corner. And what are we going to talk about in Candace's Corner? Well, I thought, how about one, I want to be an encouragement. So let's talk about faith. Let's talk about things that we might be dealing with during these times from a biblical perspective. 2, let's talk about family, because my family is super important to me. I hope it is for yours too. And 3, food, because who doesn't love food? So those are the things we're going to cover in Candace's Corner. I hope you join us. I hope you participate. I want to be being able to share with you and you giving me feedback too. So hope you are encouraged today. So the first thing we're going to talk about from a biblical perspective is fear. How can we as believers deal with fear during a time when there is so much fear going on around us and anxiety? And how can we help our children through that as well? So my first point, and we might talk about other things in future episodes, but my first point today is start with you. That's right, start with you. I had a professor in college. His name was Dr. Tim Nelson, and he was an amazing psychology professor. And he often stated that parts bring out parts. Now, what does that mean? So parts bring out parts. For instance, if I go into a conversation with my husband, perchance, I know this probably never happens to you, but yes, we do have arguments on occasion, and I go in very angry. Well, the anger in myself is going to bring out the anger in my husband, because parts bring out parts. Now, because of the Holy Spirit that we have, he could answer in a gentle way when I say something very angry to him. Because he answers in that gentle way, then that is going to help bring out a more gentle spirit in me. Parts bring out parts. So the point I'm trying to make is the fear that you have, and if you're emulating it all the time, that fear in you is also going to be put on your kids as well. So be careful. Be careful what you're saying. Be careful what you're doing. And because your children are listening, and that fear that you have is going to, again, be put on them. So how can we deal with that fear? Well, I want to say, start with this. What a better way than to start with this every single day? And if you don't know what this is a Bible. And if you've never read anything before from it, I would encourage you to start. Start with chapters like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They tell all about Jesus. They tell about his life and why he came to here on earth. Another good place to start is the Psalms. Because they have so many encouraging words for people. And so I just want to encourage you to focus on God's promises. There's so many amazing promises that God gives us, especially about fear, that can help encourage us daily. One of them particularly is Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. It says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Guys, it says right there that we don't need to fear because God is with us. And he is our God. And he says in his word that he will strengthen us. And that is a promise that he's made to us, that he will strengthen us and help us. I'm going to post some other verses in the comments that might be encouraging to you. Some are from Psalms, one's from 2 Timothy. So I'm going to post those. I'm going to put it on a nice pretty card that you could print out and you could post on your refrigerator, or maybe above a window somewhere, maybe in the mirror in your bathroom. just to be always having his promises on your mind, because that's what's going to help you get through these fearful, scary times. Also, I wanted to encourage you to turn it off. Sometimes when we're dealing with fear, we just need to turn off the sources that are causing that fear. So, for instance, maybe you have the news on a little too much. Maybe you've been going through social media too much. Maybe you've been watching things on videos or TV that are influencing you. I remember in college, I lived with some cousins, and it was my senior year of college, and they were gone for a week, and I was watching these mystery movies late at night, and I noticed I started having nightmares. And I finally realized that it was from the shows that I was watching, because what I was putting in my mind made such a difference. And so just be careful what you're putting in your heart and your mind. Maybe you need to stop watching the news for a while. Maybe you need to stop scrolling through social media for a while. Whatever that fear is, take away the source that's causing the fear. And I know there's so many sources. We're being bombarded with them daily, it seems like. So turn that fear into prayer also. Pray. Pray those promises that we talked about. Pray the Isaiah. God, will you help me trust and believe that you will strengthen me and that you will help me? That's our segment on faith. I wanted to share with you now the family segment. So something that we've done as a family, and it just came up with, we got to do something to make these days fun, to get through each and every day. What can we do? So I was reading through a book, and the suggestion just came up. Celebrate a color for the day. So I would encourage your family to celebrate a color for the day. We actually started out with the color blue. We celebrated the color blue one day, and so we all wore blue things. We ate blue things that we saw outside. We noticed that they were blue. I'm going to show you guys a picture of my family, because later, after we celebrated the color blue, they were like, hey, Mom, this day, we've got it all figured out. We're going to celebrate blue this day. We're going to celebrate red this day. We're going to celebrate yellow this day. And the whole week, we had different colors that we were celebrating. That's just one idea that could be fun for your family during this time of quarantine and COVID-19, to get your mind off things that you're fearing and onto things that are more fun and bring your family together. Lastly, I'm going to share with you a favorite recipe of ours. It's my husband's grandma's recipe. It's her banana bread recipe. And what I love about this recipe is that it's super easy. It's fun for your kids, and you can kind of just throw it all in a bowl, mix it together, and it's super easy. So I have the recipe right here, but I'm going to put in the comments for you a nice pretty version that you can print off for yourself or use. I would love to see the pictures of the banana bread that you've made, or doing it with your children. We actually did it last week as a math project for my daughter. That was one thing for her to be able to use fractions and know how to multiply fractions. So we used that as something for a math project. Maybe that's something you can do. I hope you enjoy the banana bread. I hope you've been encouraged today. Thank you for joining me on this very first episode of Candace's Corner. And don't forget to stay bold.